Yo, I love the Calyrex in this. I love the Calyrex in this. I said Calyrex, by the way, but I meant Chi-Yu. Scarf Chi-Yu looks nice. Even with all these Terras and shit. I just like the spread move ignoring Clef. I love this build, though. I know Gio's very good, though. Bourbonnet. That's a fun mon in this one. All right, let's watch this one.
And try to, both of them trying to take their teams in a different...
Once a year, of course, but also just remain resolute and stay enjoying the moment.
I remember back in the day. Will you try tournaments when next season starts? Maybe regulation year, watch Legend and Paradox. Next year, I'm going to another regional with Blunder and Swave. And I'll probably play a little bit. Been loving the second channel content. Thank you, fam. We got 10K subs, which I said they can make Mega Good as already such a great ability other than maybe huge power. I think the same thing, right? Like, Life Orb Sheer Force is already going to be so much stronger than whatever they do. But the same player, I was shocked to see Calyrex Ice Rider click Leech Seed in doubles because I thought nobody used that move in doubles. You know, it's funny because Calyrex Shadow Rider actually would run sub Leech Seed to deal with a Veltal. That was before it got like a bunch of moves too. He's going to go show his face, don't worry. Fuck, what the hell was I talking about? I said something was funny and then I forgot. Whatever, Goldfish Brain, let's go.
Nala, Koraidon, Chi-Yu, Fluttermane, Groupon, and has been the...
Lunala also boost in this Chi.
I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about.
You know, it's the same thing that happened with Iron Hands in Regulation Set G at the World Championships.
Day 2 might have been. Oh, Calcium Velted Leech Seed leftover Cal. He probably... Yeah, I remember he used that, Ochek, whatever however you pronounce it. I've seen that shit used on Showdown, though, in singles. But Magda Bestie does Showdown singles, too, so... You don't need to follow me support on this team if you have fake out support. Which you don't have. Yeah, that's Rage Powder right here on Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet. That team looks a lot like the one I fought. Isn't this exactly what I fucking fought? Without Meteor Beam, though. This is exactly what I fought, right? But just without Meteor Beam. Follow me, pressure next to fake out, aka fake out, follow me. Standard, protect the Calyrex. Makes sense. Did you play a Bonnet? I did play a Bonnet. It was on stream versus Lou. Now, Reg J starts in September. That's the one with the mythicals. I'll be streaming that. I'm excited to see this matchup. No ho-oh. No ho-oh, though. Let's get into the game. I think it's this game, and then I think one more game left. No, 2. Oh, Justin. Nice. 2 more games left on this one.
There's still all of
and we'll watch as much as day 2 if we can.
That means that Gio could still have the advantage.
One other little note here is that Clefairy doesn't have After You, and I think that gives Gio a big opportunity to make all of
the entire season.
There's no competing in Regulation J because there's no tournaments in Regulation J. This part is
this. Which of these trainers right here, right now, is stamping their ticket into day 2? Lunala and Chi-Yu for Gio, Clefairy, Koraidon for Mal.
Straight away, that Clefairy actually doing quite a lot of work here, making sure that this Koraidon is going to be able to safely attack.
Nice.
Follow me, attack away from the target of Koraidon will make sure that it's not going to be falling foul of the Meteor Beam if it wants to go for its Terra Fire. Nor just a Moongeist Beam that would be doing quite a lot of damage. And I think with Friendguard, there's no risk really for Mal that the Lunala's Moongeist, sorry, the Chi-Yu's attack is going to do too much damage to this Koraidon in the
You get a little bit of damage on Koraidon.
Gio has the opportunity to get some
and you ideally get rid of Clef, which I think it is.
Where Mal has to think, where am I going to target and how am I going to make sure that I do it effectively?
Double protect.
Clefairy just bought that time before Gio's Lunala. Heatwave is going to be boosted by the sun, and it looks like it's going to be missing onto the Koraidon there. Early doors, but is
rough turn one.
Down to a fighting time? No,
very rough turn one.
Boosting Koraidon's speed here and crucially breaking the Shadow Shield.
Thank you, fam.
This is a situation where you love to have the Moonblast, of course, threatening big, super effective damage, but still.
Ooh, that Heatwave would have done so much.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where actually you've got to target really accurately when you're in front of a Clefairy, because if the Clefairy does exactly what Mal's gone for, go for the protect, then sometimes you can just whip a couple of attacks into that protect if you don't target down the Pokemon that's actually threatening here. And I think the lack of any sort of...
That's rough. There was no flinch, by the way. Homie is used to it.
Or offensive move
5-0 for a reason, both of them.
Run in the past really does hurt Mal in this situation where
Homie's super used to it.
Free into Koraidon until the Clefairy's not on the field anymore.
it really raises that mind game. I always love seeing Protect on the follow me.
No, I don't want to.
This Pokemon that, you know, its cute looks belie some big strategies. Just going to be the big
God,
one
that's so strong.
Helping hand into that GU, boosted by the sun, and with that Flare Blitz recoil damage as well. The
Clefairy's a good mon. It has Friend Guard.
Lunala can just get this next Moongeist beam off. So Mouse Coridon very much down.
Honestly,
taking such big.
I think that's about as good as it can be. But I will say, Clef not taking any damage is wild. That miss hurt though, but I guess it would have died anyway.
Recall damage from Flare Blitz, etc. It's a Pokemon that is here for a good time, not a long time.
I think this is really clever, actually, because the Coridon going down does set
the
stage for the Calyrex Shadow Rider in the back, most likely for Mao to bring back in and then start to put some pressure on the board. Geo does have access to Wide Guard on the Lunala, but of course we've seen that mind game play out time after time after time at our international and regional championships where, well, even if the Wide Guard
Clef
there,
is a good mon. Eviolite Bulk, so it can run a good item. Friend Guard, so your Pokemon, your teammates are protected, take less damage. Follow me as well. So Pokemon have to target into it. Great typing. It's a good mon. Oh, I'm using every mythical. I'm using fucking Fione.
It's clicked every time, and you see quite a lot of Astral Barrages going on.
100%. Coming in the place of Coridon, Calyrex Shadow Rider here. This is going to be threatening great damage onto the Lunala over on Giovanni's side of the field. But of course, yeah, you do have this Wide Guard, so the Mind Game's coming into contention. But as long as Clefairy's there, having the helping hand, Calyrex, yeah, if you let that get sweeping, if you let those Grim Nays get ringing around the arena, the Mao could well be stamping their ticket through to our next round undefeated.
It's really important as well that Geo didn't go for the Terra onto the Chi-Yu on that turn as well.
Could be a Trick Room.
Terra plus Trick Room. The Psychic doesn't necessarily knock out the
Clef can
Coridon
Encore,
here.
though,
Potential
to
with a
stop
helping
it.
hand, and certainly if that Coridon isn't trained as much in its defenses,
Yeah,
because
you can
it's
use
carrying
Ride.
the Life Orb. It may be a situation where the Calyrex can just sort of target down into it freely, but certainly when it's got the Terra Fire at its disposal, and
well, you don't trick him there, I guess.
The Clefairy has the ability to redirect attacks. Is not so safe this turn.
Terra Fire onto the Coridon again.
Flame Treasure's a lot, but it's not going to kill.
Coming out from that Pokemon now, boosted by the Sun with the Life Orb to boost. Calyrex doesn't like the look of that.
Okay.
At least the Friend Guard.
Good turn.
Pokemon safe on future turns. Now Clefairy also
Don't protect, just scout. Scout's Terra as well.
If Giovanni had indeed gone for the Meteor Beam.
I guess if you went for Trick Room as well, would have just encored you into it. But nasty if you click Flare, it's
It would have gone for naught.
This is a dangerous thing to do in front of a Pokemon that can just click the Trick Room, but he gets it right. Mao making that call there. It is the Meteor Beam coming out from the Lunala.
And it's not going to be doing a thing. This means on future turns, Meteor Beam would take
Yeah, you had
2
Mouse
turns
and
to act, and that's
Spupa.
why we tend to only see it once in any given battle of competitive Pokemon. But the one thing that you haven't lost here is the special attack boost on your Lunala. It's risen from an Alola, and let's hope it's not going to be eclipsed.
The advantage here for Mao
was
is
gonna
that
draft
the
this
Terra
Spupa.
Dark on the Calyrex actually really does come into its own.
And,
here.
like, for-
Again, if the Helping Hand Psychic is able to knock out this Coridon, a lot of that, as we were talking about before, that have Moonblast, they really like it in these sort of positions because, well, you're having a trouble if you do, or having trouble if you don't with the Terra Dark on Calyrex. You're either getting hit by 4 times super effective on the Moonlight Beam, or you're getting hit for super effective on the Moonblast. And the fact that that isn't a problem actually for Mao is a really nice way that this game unfolds.
Fortunately,
Terra's
there
nice
is
to get a
Moonblast
kill.
on the Lunala over on Geo's side of the field, so it's wonderful that this Calyrex has that opportunity, that little bit of wiggle room, that little bit of flexibility now to go for this Terra Dark. But in the incoming fighting time,
Here it
that'll be
is, here it
huge,
is.
right? The big helping hand, the boosted Astral Barrage.
How much does this do to-
Coridon's going to be safe from it. Just how much damage?
How much does this do to Coridon?
Here? Oh,
Oh,
my
nothing.
goodness, was the Psychic, in fact.
Psychic to
into
kill it.
Geo's Coridon here. Now we turn our attention over to Lunala, the Moongeist Beam. Oh dear, with the Friend Guard, but with the Terra Dark onto the Calyrex Shadow Rider, in fact targeted into the Clefairy here.
Huge-
Wow, and you can see that
huge
the special
damage,
attack
though.
boost
Sun
from
almost done,
Meteor
too.
Beam really paid dividends.
So you've got to be careful here as well if you're Geo, if
How much y'all think Helping Hand, Life Orb, Astral Barrage does to Coridon? I'm just gonna calc. Because you're Life Orb, right? So what's your name? Calyrex? Calyrex, Shadow Rider, VGC, Glass Cannon. Psych. That's the wrong number. Coridon. I feel like it does more than 80 with Helping Hand. Doubles. Yeah. Yo, fam, it does 80 without. Yo, Helping Hand smokes this shit. Huh. Maybe they're thinking they have HP.
it's whether or not you want to play defensively.
176. They do have HP. 4. Yeah, Helping Hand would have... Oh, you're playing around the Y guard, duh.
And switching a Pokemon to take that Psychic while you knock out the Clefairy, and then that sort of opens
Makes
the door
sense.
for your Lunala to actually do
But
something
me,
here.
guy like
I'm
me,
surprised that
fuck
Geo
it.
hasn't actually gone
Helping
for
Hand,
Clefairy in
Astral
this
Barrage
side,
right
tried
now.
to make Coridon that little bit more of a threat in this situation, being naturally slower than
Clefairy
the Calyrex
is
on Mao's
better
side.
than
But Mao is-
Clefable in this because Clefable does not have Friend Guard. It's Terra Fire? What does Terra Fire mean? That doesn't resist a ghost, fam. Oh, you got rid of it.
Maintaining their lead at the moment, and I really do want to see whether or not that mind game gets called by either of our players, whether we actually just see an Astral Barrage to knock out the Lunala in this spot.
Yeah, this is tricky, of course, because
it's extra neutral.
It's got Focus Sash. That means it's going to be able to take at least one attack here, but it will be super effective damage if indeed it's the Astral Barrage into that slot. Clefairy is just going to continue to dish out those helping hands. There's the Astral Barrage. Oh my goodness.
That should be
Lunala
it.
has not been protected. That moon has set. Now Fluttermane just brought down to the 1 HP. The Rhydon lurking in the back will be emerging from the Velodrome.
Yeah, it is common, especially with Calyrex.
And Giovanni just down to their final 2 Pokemon.
It's such a call to make, but it makes so much sense because the Trick Room is a threat from the Lunala, especially with the sun leaving the field as well. I think this is a really good timing for Koraidon to switch out and then switch back in to reset it. That keeps the speed advantage in Geo's favor, but unfortunately for Geo, the White Guard is no longer an option for him, and the Follow Me will stop the Fluttermane from being able to target with a Moonblast into that Calyrex on this turn. But of course, if you go for a Moonblast to try to knock out the Clefairy so you can knock out the Calyrex with a move from Koraidon,
good to reset.
And the Calyrex is still going first.
Right. It's all about the speed here, the need for speed. That
I love this. I like this.
The present question of is Clefairy going to go for Protect or not?
I'm still alive, yeah. Protect on both, right? Still on turn.
Any damage this turn, and Clefairy too. So the sun being stalled now for a turn has just been reset.
Yeah. This is like giving an opportunity for the sun leaving the field actually to be a potential win condition for now. I think it takes a really good trainer to identify those spots where it looks like you're already so far in the driving seat that you're probably not going to have that problem come up. But actually, you might as well just increase the chances. We saw that in the last round.
I think it's over,
right?
right?
You've just got to take your time on those win conditions and just make sure that you're getting all the way. And while we're here, Charlie,
does Moonblast even kill Clef?
Whoever wins this game, both of them are 5-0. Whoever wins this game is locking their position in day 2 here at the World Championships.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still in game 1.
I tell you, it's going to be a long
so
stream.
We have at least one more game to go. It's just whether Geo's able to eke out the advantage. I mean, Mao has the luxury of an unrevealed 4th Pokemon in the back thus far, and they're going to be wanting to keep their cards close to their chest, not revealing that if at all possible to be able to catch Geo out potentially in the next game. Moonblast, is this going to be enough to deal the KO? It certainly will.
Astral Barrage for the chip, and what's your last mon, though?
Lunala, unfortunately, that's down and out as well. Here's the Flare Blitz. It's boosted by the sun. It's got that Life Orb into the Terra Dark Calyrex Shadow Rider. That's going to be enough for the KO. Geo looking mighty pleased about that. And now the tail turn. Now it's brought down to their final Pokemon.
Well, there's been no Icy Wind on that Calyrex, and it looks like this is one of those...
That's modest Calyrex. Oh my god, I thought it was open. Never mind. Look at that. Yeah, I'd take a drink of water too. Modest Calyrex makes a huge difference here. What? Hello, I'm kind of new in the VGC stuff, but I always ponder why Lugia never shines in VGC. I mean, the thing is bulky as heck, and even Terra can be even bulkier. Well, some of the best mons are Miraidon, Calyrex, and Calyrex. So Lugia's natural typing isn't great into that, so you have to give up Terra to do that. Lugia doesn't really have the offense, and it's kind of hard to be a bulky mon like that when you're getting double attacks, so even if you have multi-scale. Even like Chiempao, all the Dark Ruination mons are really good too. Ho-Oh is pretty decent in my opinion, but yeah.
Those Calyrex that sacrificed a little bit of speed on the way to the World Championships. Maybe it's been playing a little bit too much in regulation. There's a very, very long ride from Japan over there. And Gio's had a little bit of a shorter ride, so maybe a little bit more...
Yeah, we can spot see Jenny was fire.
That bicycle piece
now would be fire.
Really thanking their lucky stars that Koraidon's gone for the Terra Fire here.
Hold up.
Now taking resistance
this could be it.
From Fluttermane. Coming in for Mao. It is threatening the Moonblast. Has Shadow Ball as well, though, so can deal some neutral damage in the situation. But you do
Wait. A speed type could win this game.
To break through the focus sash on Mao's side of the field. So
speed type can win this game.
This is the potential speed tie between these Fluttermanes. If Mal goes first, then Mal's in a great position because you can Icy Wind to knock out the Fluttermane, assuming that hits that slot, and then do that little bit more damage to the Koraidon. And the Koraidon doesn't have to do recoil damage to itself with Flare Blitz to be able to put this Fluttermane down to its focus sash. And I think arguably the play to make for Geo is to try to increase...
Gets the Icy Wind first. Ooh, is the Life Orb hit enough for Shadow Ball though? Is the Life Orb hit from Flame Charge enough for Shadow Ball?
Doesn't have enough gas in that attack you mentioned then to be able to secure the KO next turn. Now here's the Flame Charge with the speed boost. It's boosted by the sun, but there comes that focus sash that has been so crucial ever since its introduction to the competitive Pokemon video game circuit.
With the Life Orb chip here, Charlie, this is really, really close. I mean, the fact that it's the Life Orb rather than the clear amulet.
Pretty sure also, what's it called?
Makes a big difference as well because this Koraidon doesn't have a chance of being able to move first. It got its speed dropped, it brought it back up with a Flame Charge, and now it's not boosted like the Fluttermane is in its speed.
There's a kill, there's a kill, there's a kill.
Enough for the Koraidon to hang on. No, it's not. That's going to be Koraidon down. Giovanni brought it oh so close, but no, the victory
isn't Koraidon faster now? No. It was -1 speed from Icy Wind. Really cool. Brings rocks crazy.
2023, Mao Harada, who is 1 game away from progressing through to day 2.
Yeah, Lugia's not great. They need to make Shadow Lugia.
That was so close, but what a great set of information for Geo coming into this game.
Really good game.
Yeah, you don't a little too.
Uses that to potentially Mao King.
Game 2, baby. Geo was playing in game Rider is a little bit slower, following
exactly.
Japanese. See a little bit more trick room. pretty hard in this matchup.
Old is definitely the way to describe a Pokemon from Hisui Sinnoh's ancient past.
Ooh,
But it's going to be a
the
switch
Brute
up here for Gio. My goodness, with the Brute Bonnet joining the fray, if there's one way around a difficult matchup or a game you don't know how to approach it, certainly is that Spore. Shutting down slots,
well, it would have been speed
Spore
type
and Sleep, meaning that they're unable to act. The defense boost on the Brute Bonnet as well could really pay dividends here.
Brute
Of course, in the
Bonnet,
face
let's
of
go.
the physical attacking Koraidon. The Terra type being water, so it can resist that fire.
Yeah, water's the big deal here, but also the big deal is the fact that that Fluttermane doesn't have Taunt on the other side, on Mal's side. Mal's just going on the offensive with their moves and going for the speed control. So this is a real opportunity
That boy
for
Terra
Gio to
watered
get ahead in this early
immediately.
game, get a Spore into the right target, and try to play that little bit more defensively. So you open up the window,
I assume
so
a
you
double
open up the door
protect
to be able
happens
to
from both
play
that side, though.
aggressively in the mid game.
All these Pokemon from the past colliding in the present, but who will be our future world champion? Time will tell as our fantastic trainers lock in their moves. Gio has to win this to be able to stay in contention for getting through to day 2 with 0 losses. Now, Brute Bonnet has indeed gone for
Not
its terrible
caring
water.
about the
This means
Moonblast
that it won't be
potential.
taking super effective damage from fire. Or indeed the
Probably
Fire
trying to
Mouse
call
Fluttermane
out
has
the
access
raid.
to. Fluttermane, though, is
Should be a
still
double protect,
just gonna be
yeah.
protecting. Of course, Gio's Koraidon is so threatened by that Fluttermane here as well. Koraidon for Mao also protecting. This is something you see Mao do time and time again. Just going for the double protect, scouting out what their opponent's locking into. And, you know, you don't want to take any
Sun
chances
Room
if
team,
you
but I
avoid
said,
them.
hell yeah.
Koraidon aiming to get its food a little bit boosted there with a flame charge and the Spore aiming for the
Well, at least
Koraidon.
with
You know,
fire
that could have been a
on
side flame charge into the Brute Bonnet there. That was such a cool play.
Oh, yeah, I was
resisting that hit.
I was thinking about that in my head, like, damn,
Not
side
really
flame charge
any
was
damage whatsoever.
sick.
But it is a little bit of a risk, especially if the Brute Bonnet
Huge
Terra
ass
was
risk.
quite telegraphed in that situation where you really just want to have those supportive options available. Mal doing well to see how Gio's thinking in this turn, but also opening the door to the fact that, well, both of the Pokemon just protected,
Correct,
so they
Jake.
can't necessarily protect again.
Something the Great is coming in. It's going to be Incineroar the Great. Who could thunk it, traders? Incineroar
Safety
the Great.
goggles,
It's not like
great
he's won
call.
everything ever since his introduction
Great
into
call on the
this
Spore.
competitive format we have here. But safety goggles, of course, means that it's going to not be being put to sleep by the Spore. That Brute Bonnet is threatening down. Rillaboom has been joining the fray now,
Yeah, okay.
setting up that grass.
Damn, great
Getting
call
the
on both
super
sides.
effective moves online into the Brute Bonnet. Koraidon
And
this
you
time.
threaten
It's
fake
its
out
turn
pressure,
to go
and you
for
threaten Woodhammer.
Yeah, it's like both trainers kind of see that there's a switch up going to be happening, and Mal really going quite deep into that, thinking that maybe Trick Room was a thing that actually Gio could really go for, and saying, well, if they're going to be going for Trick Room, then double fake out seems like a good thing to have at your disposal. They're certainly even better seeing that the Brute Bonnet had actually gone for its Terra Water in the
Brute
spot.
Bonnet.
Really gets the opportunity to hit that now for super effective, where, okay, U-turn would be 4 times super effective, but it's not the same type of attack bonus, it's not the strongest move out there.
Yeah, fantastic that Mal has brought both the Incineroar and the Rillaboom.
Chiyu on fake out so you can actually threaten Rillaboom is interesting.
One step ahead of Gio here, saying, well, you know, this could be an adaptation you bring to game 2, but it's not one that
I like
I'm
it.
foul of. Gio bringing that time right back.
Also comes in on Woodhammer.
Chiyu will be swimming
Should be
right
faking
now
on
this
Koraidon,
Shrine Paldea
but goes for close
onto
combat
the
anyway,
champion
just in case it
stage
does it,
here
because you're not
in
taking much
Anaheim.
damage and you have
Special
grass terrain
effects
recovery,
around
makes
it.
sense.
Koraidon not acting this turn, the fake out making it flinch. Now we turn our attention over to the Rillaboom. It
Yep,
baited
yep.
into that Woodhammer into the Brute Bonnet slot would have been super effective. That
Good
was
call.
sound effects there, Ben. If you could consider an alternative.
You get a free
that
heat
might
wave
be
plus
one there
attack
for
now.
you. Foley Master Ben, a little bit of recovery all around on the field.
And getting the fake out to that Koraidon really makes a difference here, because both of the Pokemon on
Woodhammer did a
Mal's
shitload.
side are really struggling to be able to survive attacks from that Koraidon. Close combat, even with an Intimidate, but with the Life Orb, still usually gets the knockout onto Incineroar, and Rillaboom exactly the same, but both of these Pokemon can Terra out, so it's a really difficult scenario to choose where for Mal that he's going to play defensively in this spot, especially now that Chiyu has entered the field and you get that extra little bit of damage from Heat Wave.
Heatwave
I love the
also
Chiyu
misses
just
the
flood-
Spore. Mal's
just
really under the thumb here, but you want to keep around the
swimming.
Pokemon that are immune to
Just
Spore
keep
as long
swimming,
as
buddy.
you possibly can. Incineroar for potentially that reason now switching, because it's so threatened by the fight.
Flutter comes in.
Koraidon can bring right from the past into the present.
Koraidon comes in.
Both
Oh,
Koraidon
shit.
going to be joining the fray here instead. Clear Amulet needs Life Orb, but now let's meet a Terra.
Yeah, interested to see which one this is. It's Rillaboom going for its Terra Water, so yeah, I think a really good
Smart.
defensive play here, where Gio's already committed their Terra, but Rillaboom gets to also play on the defensive. The grass type's actually feeling a little bit wet in this scenario, even in the sun.
The
This move does
defensive
not
drop
hit, man.
dodge over onto the Koraidon. Could be nice to fish for a burn in that situation, but
Oh,
no,
and the close
just
combat as well.
close combat not going to be enough to secure the KO. Mao is certainly looking pleased about that
Get a
one.
U-turn now?
Gio's Koraidon to soften itself up, not only from the recoil damage, but from that...
Just Woodhammers to kill Chiyu.
Woodhammer into
I like
Chiyu.
it.
There it is again. Thank you so much, Ben. And Chiyu is down as well. It just goes to show, not very effective sometimes.
It's just a good
but
scar for
Ross
Loggy.
Woodhammer can certainly
I've
look
seen
that
Sash
way,
as
but
well,
with recoil damage,
and AV,
gonna be the Terra
which is
option now.
interesting.
That's gonna be the Rillaboom down from Mao. The solo has ended. The gig is over too. Take that drum kit back to your car. Hop in your cars and head home, as now Fluttermane with its Focus Sash still intact in the back. And you've got the Brute Bonnet that has gone for its Terra Water.
Brute
The
Bonnet.
same way in game 1, the knockout on the GU quite early in the match there.
The Citrus is gonna carry.
On Mal's side to really hit into its stride here. But the Brute Bonnet does have Sucker Punch this time round, and yeah, okay, that's not going to be hitting for super.
Yeah,
effective if the
Chiyu
power
actually has good special
does go
defense at least.
for its Terastallization, but if it does, then that
But
means
his
that
HP is so
Koraidon
mid.
isn't, and maybe that opens a few windows for Gio to take advantage of as well.
Right, here it is, that shiny Brute Bonnet, and now the response from Mao going to be their Fluttermane joining the field too, which also has its Focus Sash in attacks. Focus Sash that paid so many dividends in that game 1.
Yeah, but now we're back to basically the same situation that we had in turn 1. We've gone around the houses and come back to this position where the Terra Water Brute Bonnet is actually looking really, really nice. And I think Gio getting the KO on that Rillaboom actually might have been one of the key things on his path to taking this game 2 back from Mal, taking us to a game 3. Because the Spore is ever more...
Yeah, it would have been
in
a
this
nasty
spot where
amount.
there
I don't think it
isn't
would have killed
a
a -1
Pokemon
though.
that's ready to put the hammer down.
If they went out into Insum
Brute
on
Bonnet
that slot.
Still threaten some,
I think killing really will make sense, though.
Onto the Fluttermane would be really wonderful in this situation. Doesn't have Bullet Seed, of course, just has the Speed Bomb, so he can't deal with it in one hit. As Koraidon now just going to be scouting out, of course, again, it's so weak to that double super effective fairy damage. Well, it's going to be the Shadow Ball into that slot instead. The Flare Blitz also doubled up into the Koraidon. Geo giving a little nod there. Now, what mischief has Brute Bonnet got up to here? Just the Spore. Fluttermane taking that snooze on the field, and this could well be how Geo now takes us through to a game 3.
Yeah, no real reason not to play that completely safe there for Geo, because the Terra Water, Brute Bonnet is in such a good position. You've got to respect Mal for taking the taking that read and saying, well, okay,
dude, this Raging Bull is so
maybe
beautiful.
Geo doesn't go for it in this scenario and trying to take advantage of that, but certainly not coming through. And I think with the Spore onto the Fluttermane now, it's really down to Geo to try and take advantage of that Pokemon being asleep. Now, Fluttermane has gone to sleep and hasn't been able to get its
Sash is still intact, though. You definitely want to break it.
It's so slow in the same way that Amoonguss does, and so this Fluttermane now will
this Koraidon might still take this game away.
It's still not in any threat of being KO'd, even though it doesn't
especially because it's Life Orb
anymore. So Spore into the Koraidon is looking pretty nice still.
Yeah, the Spore
good play.
That makes Mal pivot around, rotate.
Very good play.
Just trying to not get their Pokemon put to sleep. You could call it the Spore.
Very good play. Holy crap.
Into the Fluttermane on Geo's side. Really good call from Geo there. And
beautiful, beautiful positioning, man. Beautiful plays, beautiful positioning.
Their play. You now have 2 sleeping Pokemon over on Mal's side of the field, thanks to that Sportex. And it's high time now for Geo to just go on the offensive, try to start sweeping through.
Right, because the Brute Bonnet has Sucker Punch, so and Mal's
Brute Bonnet
has offensive moves other than Protect. So while you're asleep, you can still go for Protect over and over again, and it doesn't reduce your chances of being able to succeed in that. That would block the Sucker Punch, but if you're just carrying on protecting, then you're not actually doing any damage, and so yeah, it's a really tough spot to be in.
I like Shadow Ball, Seed Bomb,
especially knowing that the Incineroar is in the back. At least Mal does have a switch in there, but then you're not burning through those sleep.
I think Koraidon has to switch.
Yeah, again, it's really tough when both your Pokemon on the field are asleep.
Yeah, because it's threatened by Moonblast, so he has to switch. If Fluttermane doesn't wake up here, it's dead. So, oh, damn! And now you threaten Fake Out again, and then, yo.
Just scouting out here in place of no damaging move.
Watching Pokemon on TV and people like MBZ, MTG Xerxes, the Shadow Project.
The Fluttermane can't actually go for
yeah, pretty lucky wake.
In this spot. They can certainly exchange Shadow Balls, and maybe this is one of those turns
I think it's literally game.
Exchanging a Shadow Ball, you go for the Icy Wind to break the focus Sash, but if both of them do that, we end up in exactly the same position that we were in before, and certainly with the
but then Sash is broken, they both Shadow Ball each other, and then it's speed tie. Smart. You Fake Out.
Yeah, that'd be a fascinating.
Or do you break? Do you instead of Fake Out? Do you break Flutter Sash?
It's still sleeping, of course. There's no damage threatened down, but that it can still threaten the Oracle.
Well, you don't want to throw. You don't want to do that. You want to Fake Out because you want them to sleep. The defense raise is so nice on Brute Bonnet. Oh, you do go for the break Fluttermane Sash or taunt. Yeah. Okay, hey, that makes sense. Because you're banking all on your own Flutter. Do we get a burn? No burn.
Just attempted into that Koraidon slot. It's Geo looked like they were having the advantage here, but Mao is doing everything.
Unironically, your Milwaukee team would have been well positioned for this metas. Yeah, 100%. It's really good into Sun. It's really good into Calyrex. Like those are my easiest matchups with the team. But and if I would have went to Worlds as a player, which would have required me to have won Milwaukee, I would have brought some version of my team for sure. We already had a second version of the team ready to go after.
Wow. Unfortunately for
then Miraidon comes around and say hi. I know. I fought so many Miraidon mirrors. They were fine. I have treads and bundle. MBZ's dated you as an uploader. Yes, a couple years before me. I was around during that meta and I talked with them and doing all that stuff. But he predated me a couple years as an uploader. Yeah, very little Grimmsnarls, which is really cool.
Geo there, putting something to sleep that's already asleep does not extend the...
I think Hole just terra grasses and gets the tailwind off.
Sleep the way that you wanted to. Koraidon still gets to wake up at the same time it would have otherwise. But again, the Moonblast here, guaranteed damage again into that Koraidon. Never took a guaranteed turn of sleep, so that's going to be going down this turn.
From sleep
Koraidon can still win.
Double super effective damage now. Geo well and truly has the Pokemon advantage. I speak just as now.
Also, Brute Bonnet is okay, so it's going to come down to Fluttermane waking up, but you still have...
Brute Bonnet with really quick work here.
You literally have Rage Powder.
Why not? Of course, it could have been a Fluttermane switch in there too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And so Koraidon rejoining the fray. Brute Bonnet, such a masterful switch up Geo here. It becomes fascinating to see if we do head to a game 3, if they're going to be leaning on that one.
I think this does go to a game 3. I think you just spam Rage Powder.
What you can't do is attack 2 Pokemon at the same time with its damage dealing moves. Yes, there is the Icy Wind potential there.
Well, Dog Protect is fine too.
To counteract that with a Rage Powder, so the Moonblast gets redirected, the Shadow Ball gets redirected away from the Koraidon. Koraidon gets to attack
I think he gets to know.
Incineroar whenever it really likes.
I didn't know we could bring water up there.
Would certainly knock the Fluttermane down.
I've just been realizing people have been drinking water. I did not know that.
Good position, a really strong
I was out of water. water by the time of the tournament,
Now,
though.
let's not forget as well, the Sucker Punch after the Flutter Mane is at its focus sash would stop this Flutter Mane from attacking at all. So, yeah, only a few turns away, I think, from Gio being able to lock up this game 2, takes it to a game 3.
Let's see if Mao can switch things around and get something done here with a helping pull from the Incineroar.
Makes sense. You're trying for a last-ditch effort crit onto Brute Bonnet. That's not killing, though.
Going to be the Moonblast. How much damage will that do? Brute Bonnet brought down to about a third, but the berry, fascinating.
God, that did nothing. Brute Bonnet is so bulky.
Unnerved, meaning that you're unable to eat those
Kill that damn threat.
Effective close combat now into Mao's Incineroar. Flutter Mane has a mountain to climb here, and as it stares down its fellow Pokemon from the past, let's see if it's going to write its own future.
I wonder if there's a scenario where actually Gio kind of wants to.
How many turns is Sun left? 2.
A little bit longer to stop that photosynthesis boost, boosting up the.
Protect
speed
is
of the
fine.
Flutter Mane,
Piercing the
making
Draco
it
Shaker on
outspeed
screen, I'm saying.
with the Koraidon, but Citrus Berry here doing so much work.
You don't have to protect, though. Flame Charge plus Rage Powder is free. Because then you can protect next turn and then you faster.
It's going to be targeted
Yep.
down by
You're safe, buddy.
Koraidon, take it down to its focus.
Nice job, Gio.
The Koraidon does that with a Flame Charge as well, which is the
This is a
most
great
likely
set
thing
so
then.
far.
After the Sun gets removed from the field, then the Koraidon always outspeeds the Flutter Mane. There's no chance of any speed ties going on here.
Brute Bonnet, definitely the MVP in this game. It's putting things to sleep and now it's becoming the center of attention. That Moonblast, there's no critical hit to speak of there. That will be the Flame Charge, that will be the Flutter Mane.
Nice.
That will be the boost to the speed of the Koraidon. Gio, leaving nothing to chance as far as possible here, just making sure that they are stamping their ticket into a third game and trying to turn the tables against Mount Harada.
And now Gio gets to do the perfect pin here overall, is to go for a Sucker Punch and then to go for any
Yep,
sort
yep,
of attack onto the Flutter Mane. If you keep on protecting, then maybe you get a few turns out
All
of it.
right,
Yeah,
game
Gio
3.
in a perfect spot to take this game, and that's why Mao forfeited.
Great
that
adjustments.
Turn to
They already
Brute Bonnet was perfect in this
Gio
game.
declined place at season early.
Brute Bonnets, and if it
But most of
Mao Harada and Gio Siski will be progressing it through today
Okay.
with a completely clean record of 6 wins and 0 losses. It all comes down to this game. And thank you, Gio, for
Last turn
providing
forfeit
how
feels
they
so
are
disrespectful.
because it couldn't be more
Oh, you mean,
for the high
you don't want your
stakes of
opponent
these
to die,
training
you get more
providers. So
information.
Koraidon facing down Lunala, Flutter Mane facing
You don't
down
give up any
I feel like
information,
Lunala
even though
actually
you have
sets
a
itself
team
into
sheet.
a quite nice spot here where it's putting on a lot of pressure and it doesn't necessarily.
You already know how much Shadow Ball does to Koraidon?
Too many knockouts taken against it, especially if Gio wants to commit the early Terra Water.
You have a guesstimate of how much
not Terra that we see
Moonblast
too often in
does
this
to Brute?
regulation set, but actually working out really, really well. And I think Gio identifying in his team building process that actually Lunala really doesn't like playing into these mirrors. I've got to have the Terra Water to be able to play into those confidently rather than to play this sort of mirror.
This is cool because you either break Sash. One of the Mons is going to die here, but you either break Sash from Flutter, which is really big for your Flutter plus Koraidon in the back, or you potentially kill.
That doesn't go so well for me all the time.
The Moonblast, there's no special
Actually
attack
connects
there.
them both.
Heat Wave connecting into Mao's side of the field. The Flare Blitz is going to be big damage, but it's also going to do
Yep.
big recoil damage right back.
This is
to Mao's
huge, though.
Koraidon. Chiyu is already down and out. Already, Mao has the advantage in terms of Pokemon numbers. The Moon Guy's been, though, super effective onto Mount Flutter Mane. Lovely
And you keep, yeah, Flutter being gone and Flutter gone and you keep it. Good night,
So
Salt.
we traded a Pokemon apiece. Flutter Mane and Chiyu, we often see them side by side on the field, but this time around, they were facing each other down. These trainers mean business.
I think this actually really does favour Gio
This,
more
I guess
because
you're trying to deal with
now
Instinct
the
coming in,
Flutter Mane
potentially.
on Mao's side of the field gets taken out. We've seen already in this matchup how important Flutter Mane is to the end game. Well, if you knock it out on turn 1, you don't have to worry
Or
about it in an
Rillaboom?
escape scenario. You could also use your
Calyrex.
own Flutter Mane to your
I'm
advantage here.
I'm surprised you didn't
Calyrex
bring
and
out
Koraidon
your
entering
Flutter
the
Mane
field
there.
At the same time, I think really does make you
I'm really
question
surprised
whether or
Flutter Mane
not
didn't come
the
out.
Koraidon outspeeding the Calyrex
I guess Terra
in
Fire's
game
fine.
1 was just that one-time advantage, or if this is definitely
Yeah, Flutter
Koraidon
felt a little
having
bit
the
better,
advantage here.
especially it's a Life
Four
Orb.
restricted on the field now. Again, this is so classic for game 3. These
What are you going to do? Are you going to
take
Wide Guard on the
control.
Astro, but then Psychic threatens you? Or are you going to Terra?
Definitely. I mean,
But then if you lose a
that's
Speed tie, it could be bad. Your Life Orb, though.
If you have the slower restricted
Yeah, you're
Pokemon,
thinking
you
about it.
really
It's
get into
tough.
trouble quite quickly, but the Lunala has a tool
Are they a
to
modest
use
Calyrex
all the
enjoyer?
long in that wide guard to make that situation just that little bit easier to deal with and try to utilize.
The problem with this
it
is as
for
well,
Gio.
like even
So
if you manage to beat Calyrex and still keep Lunala alive plus Flutter, Instant in the back is still a threat. But it is more Fizz-Death, I assume, because it's what,
certainly,
helping hand.
the very powerful Moonguy beam that he has access to.
Okay, so Calyrex Shadow Rider is going to be riding all the way back to Galar and joining us on
Yeah,
the
Terra
field.
for Psychic.
It's going to be the Clefairy. Okay, so Mao did bring it this game and has revealed all 4 of their
Ooh.
Pokemon. So fantastic information for Gio here. The Terrestrialization onto the Koraidon. For
Hold
one of
up.
These trainers has become its Terrifier. It's all the more boosted to its 5 power now with the sun.
Did we see a Wide Guard? Did he
down.
click Wide Guard?
It's going to be the Koraidon on Gio's side. of
No
the
Wide
field.
Guard.
The Flare
What a
Blitz,
great
massive into
turn.
Clefairy here. Just how much damage is it going to take? Oh, it's just enough. The big one-hit KO. My goodness gracious me.
Ooh, the
Big
life-
Mike,
that should be
not
game.
intention there at all. The item that boosts the defenses of a Pokemon that can still evolve. And Mao is brought down to just their final 2 Pokemon. Removing the Clefairy that early was
that goes
wonderful,
down,
but
right?
so is removing Gio's Koraidon.
But then you get
Below
Flutter
Gio,
in.
head hand, but
Getting
Mike
Flutter in
not
this turn is
out.
actually
Because there
perfect.
could be another knockout yet to come. All of the restricted on the field at the start of the
Channeling
turn.
the
And you
energy
still have your
raining
Shadow
down from the sky
Shield.
into Mao's Koraidon, but no, it will be hanging on here. But the Flutter Mane so lovely to have in the back with the Focus Sash still available.
This is quite a nice position for Gio to be in with that Photosynthesis boost, but also the wide guard that it has access to. It's going to make this Calyrex just a lot easier for Gio to be able to deal with in this end game. But one thing that Mao's done really well is knock out the Koraidon on that turn, which we did see outspeed.
Dude,
the
Lunala
Calyrex.
could
So
also
there's
just
no
Terra
risk
and
of
live
that
everything if
same
it really wants
issue
to.
happening yet again. What I'm wondering about is whether Icy Wind is enough to pick up the KO on this Koraidon, and if that's the case, whether or not Moonguy Beam can follow things up here and take a positive turn here for Mao in this endgame. One thing to note is that actually
doesn't
Mao
have dazzling, Jake.
Terra option on their side of the field, and so going for a Terra Dark here on the Calyrex would make you much better into the Lunala. But if you do that, then maybe your Koraidon gets knocked out by a super effective Icy Wind instead.
Certainly not the first wide guard mind game that we're going to be
I think
seeing
planning
championship trainers. It has been so prevalent in regulation certainly. Now
I think playing it out's fine.
Terrifier for Mao. This means, of course, it's not going to
be
from Geo's.
Okay, he Terrifier to try and live Icy Wind if they go for Icy Wind, so that they can get a it's probably protect, and then you're gonna try and get some stuff after that. Wide guard.
Be the Astral Barrage that Mount Calyrex locked into. Let us find out. Moonblast into the Calyrex.
Well, Calyrex is outsped.
Just a Psychic, in fact, now into Geo's main.
Beautiful plays. Holy crap.
That Lifefall damage is going to keep racking up as well.
Wait, did Mal just get it?
The speed. That's going to be Flutter main down. Critical hit.
Oh my god, I think Mal just got it.
And all of a sudden, this Lunala cannot go for wide guard and attack at the same time. It's having too much after it.
Wow.
To make in this scenario, and especially as well because the Koraidon getting that speed boost makes
what a great one.
Before the Calyrex here, that'll knock out its Shadow Shield, so the Astral Barrage will definitely pick up a KO. If it wasn't going to take a KO, regardless, being an Astral Barrage single target into a Lunala that has no ability to go for its Terra option.
Wide guard once more, but here is that all-important flame charge to break the Shadow Shield now. Lunala in the sun, you can see the dividend it pays. Of course, Shadow Shield meaning it's taking reduced damage from attacks when it's at full HP. Was the attempted Astral Barrage here, but at some point, if Joe wants to win this game, they're going to have to start attacking, but just immediately locking in another wide guard.
Yeah, it's really clever as well.
I guess just thinking about how to fight this matchup later, this is obviously game 3.
But actually going for a flame charge over and over again means that the Koraidon is just allowed to attack over and over again without taking recoil damage.
I don't think Koraidon will protect, but
it's the fact that the two Pokemon are on the field for Mao that's important here. More
with enough sun turns, I think so, yes. If you take on Koraidon, I think Kai tried to call the Koraidon protecting though, but if you take on Koraidon, what about
how long it takes to do the requisite damage?
It's tough.
Yeah, this Lunala has certainly been caught out of position now. There's not much Geo.
It's not like there was 100%. I thought Geo had it though.
Just, again, prolong your time in the spotlight on the stage. It's only the World Championships once a year, trainers. Flare Blitz now. This is going to be enough. That's going to be Mao Harada, your top 4 at Worlds 2023, going through to day 2.
Great game. Great set though.